iya Lerga. Check, check. Hello, hello. Hello, mic level. Hello, hi.
Call to order. This is a board workshop meeting of the Board of Managers of the Marlin Independent School District being held January 10th, 2022, beginning at 4 p.m. in the middle school library, 678 Success Drive. A live stream and recording of the meeting will be available for viewing on the district YouTube channel. The subject to be discussed or considered upon which any formal action may be taken are listed below. Items do not have to be taken in the same order as shown on this meeting notice. Unless removed from the consent agenda, items identified within the consent agenda will be acted on at one time. Roll call. Board Manager Terry. Board Manager Johnson present, and Board Manager Ellers is not here. So we still have a quorum. Please stand for the pledge and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Any public comments?
There were none posted.
Recognition, appointment to the Board of Managers.
Board President Johnson, members of this board, I would like to announce and recognize Misty Ehlers as the new member of the Marlin ISD Board of Managers, replacing Danny Vickers.
Okay. All right, we'll continue on. Okay. Next is the closed session. It's 4:03. Prudent to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, deliberation of personnel matters, including the discussion of letters of resignation submitted by Kathy Ramsey and Loretta Gundecker. We're in closed session. We're at a closed session, back in open session at 4:59. That's superintendent report.
Board President Johnson, members of the board, tonight we will begin with the multi-purpose activity complex update by Mr. Bustamante.
Good afternoon, Board President Johnson, members of the board, Dr. Henson. This afternoon, I will be presenting to you the multipurpose activity complex update. So we have an updated completion date of February the 14th. Hellas did reach out to me and gave me an update. They did experience some delays over the holiday break due to some of their crew being out on vacation. So February 14th is the anticipated completion date for this project. Currently, Hellas is working on the track base. They anticipate that the track base will be complete by January the 7th. Paving of the track will also be completed by January the 10th. And then they will begin with the turf installation on January 17th. And the anticipated date for them to complete the installation of the turf is January 31st. Track surfacing will be completed by February 11th. So the surfacing of the track will be the last thing that the crew will work on, and they anticipate on that being complete by February the 11th. These are some updated pictures of the project that were taken in the month of January. As you can see, the project is coming together. They completed the inside curb and the outside curb for the track, and they started working on the surface of the track. Is there any questions on the MAC? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Board President Johnson, Mrs. Terry. Tonight, I'm going to present to you Board Policy AE Local revisions for your consideration. AE Local is our educational philosophy in the Maryland Independent School District. The board's role is clear: ensure the creation of a shared mission and vision that promotes improved student outcomes. This is in direct alignment with our Lone Star Governance training this past December 10th and 11th. If you remember, we had our initial brainstorming session in July of 2020 that led us over to our strategic plan adopted by the board in June of 21. We have guiding statements that lead the academic work in the district. We're going to focus in on our first three: early literacy, middle math, and college career and military readiness. Our Lone Star Governance goal progress measures are as follows, and they are written in the same format that we learned in our Lone Star Governance training. Second grade students reading on grade level by the end of the second grade will increase from 34% to 85% by 2025. Then we have initial checkpoints checking pre-kindergarten and first grade data. Our second goal, ninth grade student proficiency by the approaches grade level standard on the EOC for Algebra 1 will increase from 38% to 85% by May 2025. In order to track progress for ninth grade proficiency, we're going to look at fourth and fifth grade, then sixth, seventh, and eighth. Our third goal, students graduating college, career, and military ready will remain at 100% or decrease no lower than 90% by May 2025. Our two goal measures are going to be English and mathematics proficiency, denoted by our college prep mathematics courses, TSI, the ACT, and the SAT. So we had to make some adjustments based off that training that we had in December. It seems like a lot of red, but what we were able to redline and cross out, we just subbed in with our Lone Star Governance goal progress measure. So if you look at on the left side, 1, 2, and 3, those are directly taken from our training and our goal progress measures that get reported to the board. Our goal is to establish a clear alignment between our district mission, vision, the work that we do, and of course, our board educational philosophy. On the right side, you see student outcome goal number 1, and it speaks again to second grade. But then your G 1.1 and your G 1.2, the breakdown, they go back and speak directly from the Lone Star Governance Goal Progress Measure document. So everything is aligned word for word with our annual targets. The same for student outcome goal number 2 and student outcome goal number 3. Once again, we have to ensure that we're aligned not only on what we do, but what we have in our board policy. Are there any questions? Next, I'm going to give the board an update on our pre-bond planning. The district has partnered with WA Architects, John Irwin Construction out of Waco, and Stiefel Financial to discuss the next steps and phases of a potential bond in May of 2022. A reminder of our current conditions at Marlin High School. These are all current pictures taken within the past 6 months. I would like to point mainly to this water. Due to the pipes in the building, the water on a number of faucets does come out brown or more of like kind of a purplish hue. We see that we do have holes when it rains, and we have to poke holes to allow it to drip down. So these are the current conditions of Marlin High School. Looking at cracks in the foundation in the science lab, of course, our science tables with the various gas hookups, the roof of the gymnasium, the state of our locker rooms. We spoke about this last semester where the structural engineer couldn't determine why this piece of metal was coming off the building, and then we're very aware of our press box at Legion Field, along with the restroom and concession stands. We put together a bond advisory committee of 25 community members and leaders, former school board members, our mayor, and current district employees. And their purpose is to serve as the voice of the community and let the district know on the scope, size of the bond, and financial impact. I've been telling them the bond is representative of the community's commitment to our schools. It's not the bond of the district, it's the bond of the community and for our future students. It's about every student in Marlin Middle School, Marlin Elementary School, Marlin High School, and our youngest learners who are not currently enrolled in our schools. We have met twice already on December 16th and January 6th, and we're going to meet on the final remaining Thursdays in the month of January. If you see, we went over kind of bonds 101. What is a bond? How do we understand what a bond is? The financial impact and construction wants and needs. In the coming board meetings, we're going to present to the board more detailed information on the direct financial impact for every community member here in the city of Marlin who is under the age of 65. If you are 65 and above, your taxes are frozen. So meetings 1 and 2 recap, we decided with Marlin High School, it's going to come down to a gut renovation or a new build. The majority of the members in the room were adamant that something has to be done with our flagship campus. And then Legion Field, which is in the center of the Texas Triangle. Turf, parking, press box, scoreboard, new track, concessions, restrooms, and of course, ADA compliance. The ability to host high school playoff games, the ability to host district, area, and regional track meets right here in Marlin will do phenomenal things, not only for the district, but of course for the economy and showcasing what we have to offer for our students. This morning, the team was able to tour Mart High School. Beautiful facilities. So I definitely want to thank Ms. Bessie Burnett, a Marlin High School graduate, class of 2001, for opening her doors to allow our team to see what is possible in a community. Mart really is no different than Marlin. I mean, if we're looking at it just kind of just nuts and bolts. Marlin is a larger community. We have more commerce here in the city, but Mark's community was able to get behind that district and say, we want a purple track, we want new turf, we want a new school for our students. So we are very hopeful that on February the 7th, if we present to the board enough information with the data and hopefully a planned out scope from our bond advisory committee, that the board will call for a bond that will be driven by the community, for the community, but it's all about our future. Next, we'll have Mr. Adam Lejeune with Vision 2025, KSMs 6.1 and 6.3.
Board President Johnson, Member Terry, Dr. Henson, thank you very much. Tonight, I'm going to present on key strategic measures 6.1 and 6.3 of Vision 2025. KSM 6.1 is related to the Wi-Fi and internet uptime on the campuses. As you all know, if we don't have Wi-Fi in this day and age, it's hard to have school. And our indicator for that KSM is the duration of outages in minutes divided by the total number of minutes in a semester. Those are educational minutes that I'm counting. I'm happy to report that we are currently exceeding our target of 95% uptime. I've tracked 3 incidents totaling just about 25 minutes, and with 42,000 minutes in the first semester, we are at a 99.999% uptime. Looking at some of the immediate needs in order to maintain that, I am still interested in doing a few more material improvements to our network closets and securing cleaner power whenever we go out of power, and also hopefully using some political resources to make sure that the exposed server closet in the high school learning center remains in good shape. Some of my conclusions and key takeaways are that we are currently well above the threshold for continued success on this strategic measure, that improvements in the community as we go forward will have a direct impact on our availability here. We are dependent on a lot of external factors working, and those external risk factors, we can work to limit them, but we can't really eliminate them. And key learnings from our previous work that we did on our internet infrastructure, comparing now to then is like night and day, and the improvements that we made have given us the ability to hit that 99.999% uptime goal. KSM 6.3 is monitoring appropriate use of technology in the classroom. This is for continued teacher success using the tools that we provide for them to lead their instruction in their classrooms. Our leading indicator on this is going to be using walkthrough data that will be collected as we move on, and also running teacher surveys to gauge fluency and comfort. I did release a survey before the break, and I wanted to pull a couple of these questions out. These questions are to gauge current fluency or current comfort by asking some sort of easy questions for a person to answer. So we judge that if you prefer to read work-related content from a printed page, maybe your comfort wasn't that high. Most respondents were neutral or agree to that statement, which makes it seem like they're not very comfortable reading off of a screen at this point. The next question, I like to have the latest and greatest technology. We figured this was another comfort question, how willing you are to adopt new trends and new technologies. And again, most of our respondents were neutral, but we did have a pretty significant agree that they do like to have the latest and greatest. The next question, I like to write down every step for a new process that I'm expected to complete using a computer. This is a question that should judge fluency. As you can see, again, a lot of respondents said that they do agree with that. They do like to write down steps. So maybe that fluency is not to the point where we would necessarily like it to be. The next question, if I get an error on my computer, I can usually figure out what the problem is. Surprisingly, most people said that they could do that. We only had a few neutral, but 42.3% said that they were positive that they could handle that. So for this KSM, I am putting us at slightly off track. We would like to see our fluency responses higher and our comfort responses higher. And in order to do that, we are developing a fluency plan. Items that need to be addressed, I don't know if you noticed, but only about half of the teachers responded to that survey. So one of our questions is a low response rate related to teacher fluency? And a solution for that would be to go into staff meetings and re-release that survey and explain to the teachers the reason for it, and then hopefully get some more answers. And then I'm happy to say that after discussing this in cabinet, we have already added the question about effective use of technology to our walkthrough instrument for teachers. Key takeaways: comfort and fluency do not always go together. Moving from a every teacher gets every device to a technology grant model so that teachers ask for devices that they are comfortable with and that they can use fluently in the classroom would be a great drive for teacher innovation in the classroom. And my deliverables coming up in the future are we're going to repeat the survey and have a year-end survey to see how they change. And then, as I said, I'm going to present a technology fluency plan, including professional development for increasing teacher fluency. So the key learning from this is that if we buy the same tech for every teacher, it's not going to be financially sustainable. Yes, people like to have the latest and greatest, but if their fluency is not where we need it to be, then we may be misspending some of that money that could be directed in other directions. Are there any questions about these key strategic measures? Thank you.
22-23 school year calendar by Mr. Bustamante.
Board President Johnson, members of the board, Dr. Henson. This afternoon, I will be presenting to you the 2022-2023 school calendar process. Dr. Henson has appointed a calendar committee to draft a minimum of 2 calendars for the upcoming school year. District employees, parents, and students will vote and provide feedback during the month of January on those 2 proposed calendars. And then we will come back to you at the January regular board meeting with the proposed 2022-2023 school calendar. Any questions? Thank you.
2022-2023 wellness plan by Mr. Lawrence Galloway.
Good afternoon, Board President Johnson, members of the board, Dr. Henson. This afternoon, I'm presenting to you the 2022-23 wellness plan. And part of this wellness plan is our responsibility as a school district to make sure that we service all of our students and faculty and promote healthy living and healthy eating. By doing so, we have well-planned and implemented school nutrition program that has shown positive over our students. As we know, a child that doesn't eat cannot learn. So we want to make sure that we are feeding our children the most nutritious meal as possible to make sure that we have high academic returns. Part of this wellness plan is just our commitment to our students and to our community and staff for what we plan to service them with out of our child nutrition department. And I have Ms. Brown here today if you have any further questions once we get to the end of the presentation. Particularly in this wellness plan, we talk about all students will have the opportunity and support and will be encouraged to participate physically in activities that also promote healthy living and healthy eating. We also promise to have certain standards that it's outlined in the board book that you have of the foods and beverages that we will utilize based on USDA guidelines to make sure that we service staff and students to make sure they have the most and highest quality nutritional meals available to them that we have available to be able to service. So this is part of the 22-23 wellness plan. And again, if you have any questions about the plan, Ms. Brown is here as well to answer any direct questions. Next, we will have the multi-regional purchasing cooperative interlocal agreement. This interlocal agreement is our contract with Region 10, actually out of the Dallas area. We utilize them to purchase a large portion of our commodity goods and services. You will see that they are utilized to procure big competitive bids, RFPs, we like to call them as well, for USDA foods, small wares, kitchen chemicals, fresh fruits, meats, produce, bread, and other items that we utilize in our cafeteria, in our child nutrition department. We use this cooperative as a way of going through Region 10 so that we don't have to do the bidding ourselves. We're able to buy these products directly through the Region 10 cooperative, and they supply it to us. And Ms. Brown has done a wonderful job managing that contract and managing that relationship to make sure that we have a steady supply of goods and services for our students, even during the pandemic. So we're just renewing this contract to make sure that we can continue to that steady supply chain of meals and services and supplies to keep our cafeteria clean and serve great meals. Again, I listed some of the opportunities that we utilize from the multi-regional purchase cooperative and that we ordered, that particularly from our one vendor that we work with for food and a vendor that we work with for our other cleaning materials and supplies. Are there any questions?
Next, we'll have Principal Nikki Edwards, Marlin Elementary Early Childhood Literacy Data Results. To our board president and Mrs. Terry, last January, we did see a slight decline in our early childhood education data. It has been a focus of the district that early literacy will take precedent when it comes to building a strong foundation. Ms. Edwards.
Thank you, Superintendent Hinton and Ms. Terry and President Johnson. So we gave a pretest and a post-test. Our focus is on phonics at the kinder and first grade level. And following the guidance of our consultant, Jennifer Foster, we have identified specific strands that our students work on every 6 weeks. And so we gave them a pretest just to see where they were, and we gave that in November, and then came back through and post-tested our students on the exact same skills to see growth in areas that we need to maybe continue to support. Overall, with kindergarten, if you can see our passing rate, we had 13 students on the pretest that passed, and that increased to 47 students that met that 70% threshold. 100% of the students grew, but 47 students hit 70% mastery on their skills. Specifically by skills, there were 3 different skills that were tested on that particular test, which was identifying their letters, identifying their sounds, and then high-frequency words. And so on the pretest, it shows the percent of students who mastered that skill versus the post-test. And then again, you see an increase in performance in 100% of the skills that were tested. We did the exact same thing for first grade. They tested a little bit more, but it was a similar formatting. And so on the first grade test, on the pretest, there were 5 students that passed, and that increased to 39 students that passed. Again, 100% of the students showed growth from their pretest to their post-test, but this is showing who actually made it to that 70% threshold. And then specifically by skills, first grade is a little bit more challenging, and so we're going into the phonological awareness, the phonetic knowledge, and then their spelling knowledge. And you saw significant increases from the pretest to the post-test data across all of the skill levels.
And here, you'll see Board President and Mrs. Terry, increases of above 50%. We have come close to bringing you data that was all green. This is the first data in which every area for every grade level grew at a significant amount. So this is the first of many data sets that we hope to show you with this amount of growth. A lot of credit has to go to our early childhood education teachers, Ms. Patrice Woodson, Dr. Parker, Ms. Rhonda Milton, and ultimately those students for being able to be focused. This shows that our students are more than capable when instructed. Whenever we came to the district, we had to analyze what's the gap and what's the deficit. We realized it was early childhood education, but it came to what? It was teacher training and a viable curriculum. So we wanted to ensure that we provided the training for our faculty and staff. We had a sound curriculum to hit the skills. But probably more importantly, we had the appraiser, the principal, the assistant principal, who is working directly with that teacher be the one to go in and observe that classroom with a walkthrough checklist just to make sure that our students were getting what they need. That has been the magic pill, the magic bullet that is going to make our students succeed. 81% for anything in Marlin, Texas needs to be celebrated. So thank you for your leadership. And I cannot wait to see when these first graders become second graders, then they become third graders, then they become fourth graders. When that happens, the Marlin Independent School District will ensure equality and excellence in every classroom. Thank you.
And so just to summarize the findings, of course, were the identification letter sounds, overall average of 70% mastery, and just to sum this all up, that what Dr. Henson said, there was just significant growth across the board in our students and their acquisition of literacy. First grade, our GLOws, our identification of letters as well. We do still have some areas of opportunity. Our baseline of growth, we are trying to hit 70%. There were some areas, while they did grow significantly, some were upwards of 50 percentage points, some were still below the 70% threshold. You saw a couple that were at the 67, 68 mark. And so we will continue to work with Ms. Milton and with Ms. Woodson and Dr. Parker to identify how do we continue to move, because we're chasing a moving carrot, while still going back and filling in some of those gaps where we didn't hit the 70%. And so thank you for all of your support. Any questions? That's it, yes. Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
This does conclude the superintendent's report.
So we through? Anybody, anything else? If not, we stand adjourned.